Hi, this is Jill Badonsky, and this is a Muse's Daydream. And I've run out of daydreams, so I'm going to turn to reality. I'm a perfectionist diagnosed with ADHD who loves creativity, so there are some interesting stories that can happen with that combination, and I'd like to share them with you in case there's a nugget of wisdom that you can benefit from as well. This first episode is called Perfectionism is Creativity's Evil Stepsister. Several years ago, I painted prolifically in watercolor and ink with the boyfriend of that time. We ventured to the everywhere of landscapes, coffee shops, and unsuspecting people and brought home copious amounts of half-done renderings, foiled attempts, and maybe an accidental masterpiece, rarely. I liked very few of our paintings. He liked all of them. I kept my painting mishaps because I would either use the flip side for other paintings or I'd rip them up to make collages. This guy I was with would frame all of his paintings with glass and black electrical tape and hang them in cafes and hair salons around town. This made me cringe, yet at the same time I was in awe of his enterprising courage, absence of self-judgment, and his audacity. He was not a perfectionist. Confidence was an inspiring trait of this man. Having boundaries, not so much. One day I walked into a cafe and saw a painting of mine that I despised, coffee cups that were wobbly and they weren't even done, framed in black electrical tape. So, in broad daylight, everyone could see this imperfect painting of mine. I was embarrassed, angry, and no doubt a scene ensued when I got home. The next day, we went to retrieve my painting, and guess what? It sold for $300. Really? It wasn't even finished. Without revealing my mortification, I sheepishly asked the purchaser, "So, what did you like about it?" She replied, "Well, everything, especially the unfinished look." Really? After a quick evaluation that she was indeed sane, I experienced one of those cellular changes where the epiphany is greater than the sum of the painting. Couldn't I see the value someone else could see in my work? Am I not even my own audience? Was I doing what others considered good and not even knowing it? I was sad, excited, confused, but ultimately inspired to paint more. I looked at my results in a new light. I had no idea my standards might be suspect for what was considered good. At an earlier time, I would have discounted the fact that someone considered the painting good enough to be bought, by just writing it off as a fluke. Stuck in a belief system I didn't even know was sucking out my creative mojo. I guess in that moment I was ready to let it go. Just curious, do you need to ask yourself these questions too? Are you your own audience, whether it's art or music or whatever it is you do? Because if you're not your own audience, have you considered that there might be one that's waiting for your stuff? T.S. Eliot said, "Between the idea and the reality falls the shadow." How we think our art and writing should look, and what actually happens is often out of our control. But that doesn't mean it won't be something as good or better than we planned. Kind of like life. If we are attached to the vision of what it must look like, we are robbing ourselves of the pleasure that can come from going with the flow, seeing how the work emerges. It's one of the joys of the creative process to see what happens instead of controlling it. Well, I could talk a long time about perfectionism and how to deal with it. There are solutions, But at the risk of being pedantic in my podcast, I'm going to stop there. And for those who are interested, there are some links in the show notes to workshops and trainings that talk all about perfectionism and how to get through it. Here's one little tip, and that is perfectionism and fun cannot occupy the same space. So whatever it is you're doing, ask yourself, how can I make this fun? Perfectionism is creativity's wicked stepsister. She dismisses the compliments of others as ignorant, uninformed, or simply them just trying to be nice. She towers over us with a disapproving look that robs us of our joy in the process. She insists that we keep our work to ourselves to avoid the embarrassment of our ineptness. But she hates it when you're having fun. Have fun. Piss off perfectionism. Thanks for listening. Check the show notes and be kind to yourself. Well, that's it for the first episode of the new season. A Muse's Daydreams / Reality is brought to you by Kaizen-Muse Creativity Coaching. Simple steps, profound results. And is written, narrated, and imperfectly engineered by me, Jill Badonsky.